I'm going to collect the title, by the way, but today's title is I Played a Lottery Where I Didn't Win. This is about the American presidential election. In the end, the people who voted for President Trump, despite the various political systems in America, well, I'm already feeling significantly disappointed, or something along those lines. Not just ordinary working people. So, on the opposite spectrum, issues like being transgender, advocating for women's rights and foreign citizens' rights should be addressed seriously and discussed. If anything, the government is focused on ourselves in America. Mainly white people and white men. Ushijima, I have a high suicide rate or I'm short. There is a reason why people don't appreciate that. I think the structure will be that I voted for President Trump because I wanted something to be done about that. In fact, the income of the middle class in those developed countries, Hema, it is said that it will continue to decrease relatively. The structural problem has not been solved. In short, I thought of people who do jobs that anyone can do, such as supermarket clerks and those who do farm work. Anyone can do that. Work is basically going abroad more and more. It's a structure that ends up like that. In short, the cost of a single pipe for import and export is cheap. So, why, for example, was there a job of making towels in the past? Imabari was quite famous. But this time, that Japanese person, when I was making towels, the price was not very high. It's not expensive. So, from its appearance, this product seems to be manufactured in China. So, well, for example, most of the products sold to Daiso in Japan are made in China. So that middle layer, being happy is structurally difficult. Of course, there are also agricultural tasks that require skills. There are many agricultural tasks that do not require technology. So if the high load value factor is vegetables that can be sold at a high price, you can still grow them in Japan. Even if wheat is grown in Japan, the reason why the community doesn't buy American products is also because they don't buy soybeans. It will be imported from overseas. At that particular moment, the middle class is ultimately affected. Well, it's hard to make money. So how much will it drop? Perhaps Chinese individuals or culture. With people doing similar jobs, I have to get the same salary. You're in a situation where there's no such thing. So if the import and export costs don't change much, even Chinese-made items share similarities with Japanese products. Hence, what about those producing them in China? If you aim to match the price of that product, Japanese citizens would have to pay equivalently to Chinese counterparts. Miki, this is not only a problem for white people in America, but also in Japan. I'm also coming to Europe. Ushijima, who will take on the role of president and who will serve as the prime minister in this scenario? It's not a problem that can be solved. However, if change is desired, there exists an approach called the block economy system. In short, products made in China, if you do not import at all, for example, from China, it's like towels sold at Daiso, like scissors made for 100 yen, plastic bags or clothespins. I stopped importing anything from China. We also stopped importing from Southeast Asia. When it comes to making things in Japan, the number of jobs in Japan will increase. I think if you rent it, it will be about 3 times the price of selected scissors. Probably what the 100 yen shop sells. Japanese. Salary shop, when simplicity. Probably 3 times the price. As a result, things sold at 100 yen shops cost 300 yen. It's like a shop. That means that prices will go up. In short, people from overseas make those cheap things, so they buy them and manage to do them at a low price. So when you want to get something from overseas that makes that cheap thing, as a result, prices will rise, which is a very natural thing. Of course, it's expensive and you can buy it made in Japan. It's okay to talk about rich people. The problem is, my salary hasn't gone up. Amid rising prices, it doesn't matter which country or political party you are in. You have no choice but to buy cheap things. There are a lot of people who don't have the means to make a living in a place called Ushijima. So even if it becomes President Trump, it doesn't change structurally. That's why, well, it's even better that those handicrafts become popular. For example, you have the option of not buying those clothes. A majority of individuals, it appears they purchase roughly 3 pieces of clothing annually. Even if you don't buy those new clothes, people don't die. Hey, make a friend who plays the same child as a friend. When I say give me clothes, I usually give it to you. No matter what kind of person, there are quite a few clothes that don't come. Regardless of how tall you are or how short you are. So, if you choose to live life without spending that money, your disposable income may likely see a significant increase. Also, macari and whatever are used in stores. To summarize, from my perspective, it seems quite evident that your income will not show any growth. In short, when it comes to increasing the income of middle and third-class people in developed countries, maybe it's a block economy or something. They're cheap. China, which makes that product, unless something bad happens in the war inside. Basically already, it will not increase in the middle 3 states. In that case, the people at Nakayama Accounting are overeating, so what should we do? The only way to avoid costs. So it's nothing special. If it's new, you can tell it's new on the first day, but if it's on the second or third day, it's listed as used. You don't know anymore, do you? For example, I wonder if this is what I bought used, or if I bought new, no one will be able to tell the difference. Oh, indeed. So like this, if anything, the politics within it, I hope that I will be able to do something by accompanying Harui. The Rikans did, but I believe such situations might not undergo significant changes. So as a result, when it turns out that expectations have been disappointed, I was wondering if one of them was going to go wild. In short, the people who wanted President Trump to win last time were... When you attacked that parliament, you went wild. Miki, this time, first of all, the Democratic Party of Japan. I don't think papists will go on a rampage. But I think you'll probably end up in a state of humiliation and stress like this. Fast forward to 2024, yet by the time of 2028, President Trump would be unable to hold the office any longer. So right now, there is no one in the Republican Party or the Democratic Party who has the ideology and charisma of President Trump. Then maybe whoever it was, even if that hypothesis or someone from the Republican Party is, the Democrats will be angry, and I think Republican supporters will be angry. If you're expecting something like Mr. Trump, I guess you're just a normal person. So as a result, the economy is not doing well. This time in Mickey President Trump, to some extent, the main reason behind the anticipated growth was tied to the strength and resilience of the American economy. That Nakayama, there was something that said wasn't good for accounting. Even 4 years from now, the economy will be tough for Nakayama Accounting. It doesn't change. Bitcoin goes up and you become rich. People are rich because of their stock prices, so there are quite a few people in America who are doing Hokok. Those people, I have money to buy Bitcoins. People who have money to buy stocks do it. The point is, people who live that day, whether Bitcoin rises or stock prices rise, the benefits are all. I can't take it very well, Mickey. But I'm sure President Trump will do something about it, so he probably won't do anything. President Trump's civilian efforts will be made. The result doesn't change. Ushijima, for example, President Trump says he will return immigrants. What is the current count of immigrants residing in the United States? Population becomes motivated. Reports suggest an approximate figure of 10 million individuals living as unauthorized immigrants. So, what are these illegal immigrants doing? Immigrants who come legally, be legally Americans, like not doing it. Salary. The fees are low and you work hard. I elaborated more on that during my visit to APLA. There is a job that involves just handling the chicken. It's broiler-like. There are factories that produce chicken in large quantities. It's in the southern part of the United States. When chicken is put into a machine with a bang, it doesn't automatically pop into the bones and meat. I have the opportunity to divide the shortage to some extent. Basically, humans handling chickens, I was trying to divide it into meat and bone parts. Mickey. That's it. If you fail, your finger will be cut. I get hurt. It's hard work, so it's dangerous, but the salary is very low. However, those immigrants do it because they want a job. So as a result, if Americans will do that, they won't do it. In short, the hourly wage is about 600 yen, continuing to handle birds with manual labor. If you don't do well, you get hurt. Inside there, where the blood got in, then what about the chicken? Infected with various bacteria. There are also times when you get some really strange illness. Ushijima, I don't want to do that kind of dangerous and low-paying job as much as possible. But the American people, I want to eat cheap chicken. That's right. So it works as a job. As a business, it's running. But as for why it's running, it's cheap because it's illegal, and it's managed to get around thanks to people who work hard as a labor force. Mickey. Well, America has a cheap culture. The waiter said now, I get a certain minimum supply and demand. When I was on the account, there was a minimum wage of $3 an hour. Great West Japanese yen. In that case, 300 yen or 400 yen. Basically, the hourly wage is 300 yen and 400 yen. I live as a waiter. Ushijima, there was no way I could do it in Japan. In the case of waiters, American restaurants have a culture of tipping. I typically earn a minimum of 300 yen per hour. So regarding the table service, I'll bring you coffee or something. Handle things carefully to earn the chips equivalent to the meal cost. You can get it from 15% or 20%. Ushijima, for example, if you had a meal that cost about 2,000 yen, it will be given as a tip of about 400 yen. So, thus, if the hourly wage amounts to about 400 yen, 19 or 800 yen, how many times an hour did 3 potatoes take charge of the table? It's 400 yen and 3. So I got 1,200 yen just for a tip. Sarah, for a minimum of 19 to 100 yen, you can get 600 yen, right? The income is 1,200 yen per hour. People at the store only have to pay 400 yen. Only the minimum hourly wage. So as a result, people working in shops can easily hire laborers at a cheaper price. So it's illegal there. They use a lot of workers and immigrants. By the way, I'm talking about American culture, so why really expel immigrants? Then maybe a restaurant or something. The meat industry and agriculture will no longer work. There is a country called the United Kingdom because it is a country that has already done this baptism. Say Brexit aloud, repeat that we're departing the European Union officially. You came out of the EU. So get out of the EU. If we leave the EU, there will be no illegal immigrants. I thought our lives would be easier. That particular truck train has completely disappeared now. In short, British people think that they don't want to make a living driving that truck. So there were no British people to become truck drivers. So as a result, there was a shortage of truck drivers. So I think I can get a little more now truck driving. With your hands, you can easily get a visa to the UK.
Mickey.
If you convert your annual income, you will get an annual income of about 12 million. Or if you work for just 3 months at the end of that year, you'll get about 1 million yen that month. The point is, it's only 3 million a month for 3 months. I just don't have that year's work. Only at the end of that year is amazing. Because I'll be busy. I just want you to work for 3 months. But if you were that normal person, even if I'm a truck driver only at the end of that year, I don't want to be unemployed other than that. So I'll take a normal job so I don't work as a truck driver. Immigrants used to work there. In short, if you are in the EU, you don't need a passport. So that Eastern European driver, electronics from the 3 Baltic countries, I worked in the UK only during the end of that year. And then after the end of the year, I had the year end and New Year holidays. And then I came back after the end. So what about integration? It's like living on ball 3 because I can no longer do that. Transportation costs have become extremely high.
That's what
It happened in the United Kingdom. So if I remember last year or something, if I did a public opinion poll, whether that Brexit was a success or a failure, as a British person, I sometimes come to the conclusion that Brexit was a failure. It is overly simplistic to assume that expelling immigrants alone would result in favorable outcomes or resolve all issues. A little bit. Mercari is a Japanese company. We are also expanding into the United States. Since it's Mickey, President Trump's leeway is that he can get better if he kicks out immigrants. If we really kick them out, prices will rise first. After that, the cost of evicting them may also increase. So, we need immigrants to some extent. However, I sometimes think that it would be better to create a social system without immigrants. In short, if you include immigrants, it's still an immigration issue because it's bound to happen. So it's better to keep immigrants free. It's better to let society run its course while you're away. However, once people are included, it becomes quite difficult to meet them. So in Japan, I think it would be better not to use nicknames like technical intern trainees. Do you think so?
Mickey.
So I caught a cold and was cold. In Japan, because we don't do much deportation, so apply for refugee. The person who was taken in Japan in 2 or 3 years, I'll put it in. It becomes a mystery. Singapore or something will be forcibly deported. Also, in Singapore, the maid, once every 6 months or something, buy a pregnancy test. Being pregnant is symbiotically correlated with money. What is serious? What is it?
Mickey.
Is this your hypothesis? The journey has been long so far, but can you share the comprehensive list of key show candidates expected this month? I feel like there was some kind of data logic to that. Miki Matsumoto Hitoshi writer Ito jump site. What should we do if there is also a historical case that now we cannot forgive women for hiding the issue of so-called sexual harassment by women? Recently, immovable property. The structure was also newly established. This development seems intricately linked to the Democratic Party, as well as numerous other groups. That's straight up. In short, I think it's probably the correct answer to say that you don't know about compliance. In short, even if a woman says it's okay, even if you conduct investigations afterward and deeply analyze the leak, proving it as a criminal case is highly unlikely. And just because the woman repeated it, that individual must indeed be held accountable due to the societal and media turmoil caused. They say that things like Mr. and Mrs. Matsumoto will appear. But nothing special about that. That even if you don't appear in the media, you can appear in society. For example, I'm a really bad person at sharing. I guess you said you couldn't appear on Japanese TV. Well then, will it be on YouTube? I do a lot of things with X, so even if it doesn't appear on Japanese TV, newspapers, or magazines, that kind of talent activity is possible, isn't it? It's Mickey, so what's wrong with it? When I say it was dried, I think it means being dried on TV or something. I'm now able to live a life where I don't have to watch anything on TV. I believe there's little necessity to conform or delve into matters resembling the concept of polycore comprehensively. Cormoran. What is the media-like mentalist number 5 because it's Shijima? It's been a while since I've been in a direction where I don't appear in that kind of media much. I received a work email saying I was off tomorrow. It's a hassle to be in society, and it's recorded in gold and things like this. Is there no danger? I don't have it anymore. Basically, I have always been self-employed. So when you receive that email and read it, you reply on the spot. Because I do it all the time, whether it's on holidays or whatever. Taking a day off does not imply an interruption from work in any way. Because it doesn't mean working 8 hours a day. So that during the day at all, sometimes I don't work, so I check my email when I notice it. Replying to emails that have been completed I feel like I do it when I want to. So I think it's a problem with the living environment. Ushijima is disgusting. Paper, I know you have a question. I still can't get up after waiting half a year after being dumped by the boyfriend I loved for 4 years. I wonder if I can get insurance. They'll look for the next one. Basically already. Next, it's better to say Toto. If I could restore it, I'm glad I took the exam. Like a bonus, basically you should go a little next.
Gambara.
Fibromyalgia stage 4 pain is almost all about the recent topic of politics and world affairs. I think happiness comes more easily to people with disabilities when it comes to YouTube, but is there anything you can prepare for? Ushijima, it's better not to look at the situation in the world. Because you saw the state of the world, the situation in the world will not get better. It won't get any worse.
Ushijima.
In short, world situation. The situation of Japanese society. I look at people who have free time. In Japanese society, we should do better. And how should we do better? I think it's important to move. Seeing that makes me feel mentally, if you do it, it will be negative. It's useless to just watch. It's called a clean vote, but after all, high school is 1 vote. Society hardly changes with just 1 vote. So rather that, if you're mentally ill, then because of that, you get hit by people around you or make those involved uncomfortable, then because the company is negative for your own life. So don't look at that disgusting thing. It's better to spread happiness to those around you like this. I think he's very happy in life. Seki CTP put it in the middle of Africa. No, that guy. If there are problems in Africa, I think I will lose weight a lot. Mr. Seki Otem wrote that Mr. Trump forgot to write a comment. Is there a woman who will show her last card in 4 years? How about that? I don't think so.
After all.
Already.
Ushijima, after all.
This is my prediction. So it might be completely different. At the point of being a woman, some people are negative. Some people are negative about being a dinner race. It's Ushijima. So after all, white male, battle with the position. What is it? It's at a disadvantage from the beginning. As if there is a society where men and women are equal. You may be thinking, men do the work. There are many people who have the value that women belong in the family. To some extent, people in Africa and America, Those Hispanics. Society has a culture where men commit crimes and women protect their families. Even Muslim people think that way. Ushijima, people who go to universities in developed countries, men and women are equal, right? A housewife, a woman works. They say it's okay for men to protect their families. As far as I can see, I think you're in the minority. Even in Japan, there are a lot of people who say things like that in the media. But even in Japan, if you look at the man who doesn't work at DA, after all, people around me complain. So something like that. So while the man was diligently working today, there were noticeable pauses and reflections. Children, I said I was going home because I had a fever. There exists a societal perception that may label you as an unconventional individual. This is the reality. Separate the good and the bad. So after all, that's what a female president is like. Because I have to overcome the hurdles, he's not a very good person and he can't be surpassed. Isn't it tough for those who show off a little bit in terms of age?
Boo!
Learn law for free and self-taught. Boto, no matter what, you studied Spanish in a short period of time at Darba Potabi. Well, when it comes to the law, you just have to continue reading the law normally, so I think you should read the 6 Laws Zensho. Spain did dueling. Ushijima, Japan, though influenced by war, stands a strong chance of surviving unscathed. It's the perfect size with ongoing investments. Even with possible involvements, the countryside or less strategic areas might remain unaffected. For example, when any country wants to attack Japan, after all, I don't really care about Gunma, so I don't think they will attack. Tokyo and Osaka will attack to some extent. Fukuoka has a large population. However, if you attack Kyoto, there are many cultural heritages and things like this, so it looks like it will be difficult, so let's stop it. Gunma, because I want to forget that I even exist. So I think it will be safer to stay in that countryside.
Generate by AI.